Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Palantir is showing up on a ton of new job listings and job descriptions, and in today's video, we're going to talk about it. Some of the crazy names they're showing up on: Dell, Booz Allen Hamilton, to $7.5 billion a year in consulting revenue, Citibank, Bank of America, AbbVie, CVS, some crazy names that are starting to require their job descriptions for their data engineers, their data specialists, their cybersecurity analysts to make sure they are scaled in Palantir. Now, Palantir's commercial business is growing pretty fast, pretty rapidly. They grew 103% last quarter with their commercial clients. I mean, that's an amazing stat, like to grow 103% for your commercial clients. But it's not fast enough for Wall Street. Wall Street does not like how fast they are growing, especially in the macroeconomic landscape that we are in. I mean, they could be growing, to be honest, like 300-400%. Their stock price still would not be affected by it, simply because of inflation, supply chains, the fact that growth stocks are getting hammered, etc. What we are willing to pay right now, which is 20 times price to sales for Palantir, is only going to go up and higher if they can scale into the commercial sector. This is the big bet you're making with this company. Can they keep integrating into the very fabric of corporate America, the very fabric of Fortune 50, Fortune 500 companies, and become the go-to data analytics platform for the enterprise? Now, Wall Street and most investors are willing to give them 2-3 years to actually be able to show that rapid pace of growth. They've projected 30% year over year. They think they're going to be able to penetrate. I think that money or that stat is sandbagging, right? Like, they're probably going to be going at 40-50% year after year because they are projecting 30% to be conservative. But in reality, especially with these job descriptions, they're likely integrating with a lot more people. They're ramping up sales and marketing. And to be honest, they have to, because if they can't do that, they're not going to be able to live up to the valuation. They're not going to be able to live up to this sort of golden company that is going to fundamentally change everything about corporate enterprises. So, can they do it? Let's go into my computer. Let's look at some of the job descriptions. Let's look at specifically at what these job descriptions are asking for, because some of these things are very specific for Palantir, and it's really interesting just finding these screenshots on the internet and realizing that people really want you to be skilled in this. And then we'll talk about why each of these individual companies would potentially have a use case for Palantir. So first of all, big shout out to The Cameroon, one of my Twitter buddies on Palantir. We talk a lot about Palantir, and he finds a lot of these screenshots and puts them on his feed. And a lot of this stuff is really good. He just keeps finding more and more stuff. So let's analyze some of the stuff that he has found. So first one we're going to go to is AbbVie. This is a research-based biopharmaceutical company. And as we can see here, we're going to see in one of their major job descriptions that they look for a Palantir. So first of all, this is a data engineer. Location is in United Kingdom. Category is obviously information tech. Let's Command F Palantir, and we can see some of the key responsibilities are working knowledge of PySpark, Palantir software, and Python programming languages. And here, this is a really interesting one. This is the first one I wanted to start off with. Qualifications: technical experience and strong developmental skills, experiences using Python, PySpark, SQL, big data experience. Palantir preferred. So right there, obviously excellent communication skills. I talked about that in previous videos. You got to have good communication skills to get these types of jobs. But if you're technical, they want your big data experience to be Palantir preferred. And the reason why this is so important is because they're not listing preferred on some of the other big names like Datadog or Snowflake. They're saying, hey, we are working with Palantir. We need you to be preferred with Palantir. And this is, at this point, it's just too obvious. This company is obviously working with Palantir. It's either one of the commercial clients that was disclosed in a previous quarter, not disclosed, but like accounted for in that revenue, or it's a new client that they recently brought on and they haven't accounted for their revenue. Maybe it's a Q4 client. This stuff gets me excited, right? When companies are like, hey, you need to know how to work with Palantir, that's important. I also recently just did a video that Palantir is coming out with a certification program, and that's only normalizing and standardizing the brand of being able to be good at Palantir, just like a lot of companies need you to be good at AWS. More into the corporate enterprise, because that means more and more job descriptions are going to have a preferred Palantir position. Next one, Citibank. So this Citibank is a open source intelligence senior analyst. And if we Command F Palantir here, we have there a little bit about this role. So the senior analyst position reports to the senior vice president of open source intelligence. So this is analyzing a lot of the data that's in their open source sort of like webs, and they have to sort of put them together to answer specific intelligence questions. A lot of times these roles are like, all right, we have a ton of data. We need to do risk management, project management, potentially financial fraud management. So this open source analyst sort of takes a holistic view about the things that you would have to do. So as you can see, the responsibilities: conduct intelligence analysis of complex open source and cyber related cases using advanced intelligence, approved tradecraft, and advanced intelligence resources, and experience in utilizing visualization and link analysis software applications such as Palantir inside of their qualifications. So they obviously have other things. Now, when they have other things, that means that their entire enterprise is not only using one thing, right? So that means they're saying, hey, we use a bunch of different things. You need to be able to be suitable to a bunch of different things in order to actually work with us. But that's a good thing, right? Because if they're working with a bunch of different things and Palantir is one of them, that means that Citibank is adopting Palantir in some divisions. Is it incorporated throughout like all hundred thousands of locations they have? Probably not. But that's a good sign for Palantir because it's penetrating into certain subsectors of the commercial enterprise. This role is in Florida, I believe. Yeah. So it's safe to say that this primary location of Florida is using Palantir for some of their big data analytics. Next one, we have Bank of America. So this is a threat prevention engineer. This is in Charlotte, North Carolina, Richardson, Texas. Architect platforms and design global enterprise solutions that adhere to information security requirements while meeting business needs to establish secure network connectivity, leveraging various content inspection systems for malware, data loss, and forensic analysis. You need someone technical to basically go into this bank, make sure everything's running smoothly, and make sure you can detect patterns if something is not going to run smoothly on a cybersecurity level. So when we go to required skills, we have Palantir popping up right there. So these are some of the other things that you as a technical person applying to this role would need to know. And good old Palantir is up there and it's waiting for you as a desired skill. All right, next up we have Dell, Cyber Threat Intelligence Analyst. Let's Command F Palantir. Here we go, desired skills. Experience working with and adhering to intelligence tradecraft, including use of intelligence tools such as Palantir, Maltego, and/or Analyst Notebook. So again, not only Palantir, but it's good if you have Palantir because some parts of the organization are working with Palantir, which means they either are in the acquire phase, or Palantir is getting to work with them, or they're starting to get integrated, or they just want to test out, hey, if you work with Palantir and we put you in a role where you have to do Palantir, are you more effective than working with something else like a Maltego or another type of software? Another one, we have CVS. So this is a screenshot. Data analyst, strong knowledge of advanced analytical tools such as Tableau, Palantir Foundry, Databricks, highly preferred. And this is a data scientist in Rhode Island for CVS. And another one in a really interesting company called Icon Technologies, a data insights software engineer, implement Palantir Foundry as primary data analysis and visualization tool, build and manage data integrations across all data sources, develop standalone web apps as necessary to support projects. So this one is very specific that they want Palantir Foundry as the primary tool by which the organization would be analyzing their data. So you need to know how to use Palantir Foundry. Okay, final one, we have Booz Allen Hamilton. This is a cybersecurity IT consulting firm. They do about $7.8 billion of revenue per year. So pretty big company. And they want you to have a knowledge of managed attribution, network analysis, and skills involving Palantir. Okay, so what does this all mean? Ultimately, at the end of the day, this is a good sign for Palantir shareholders because that means more and more companies are requiring you to be able to do Palantir Foundry, understand the intricacies of the data analytics software, understand how to use and visualize and implement it in order to work with their companies in these highly desired IT-specific roles. What this really means to me is that Palantir is starting to find different avenues through the commercial sector, right? So they're not working with all of CVS, but they're working with some parts of CVS, or they're introducing their software to some parts of Dell, and Dell's understanding their software, and they're like, hey, we're hiring people who can work with this software. And if these people can work with the software, then this might be a software that we expand to other parts of the business. You've got to remember that these companies do billions and billions of dollars of revenue per year. So paying for a software as a service that can make their entire processes more efficient, more effective, and ultimately help their bottom line is something they're absolutely willing to do. They just want the most efficient thing to pay for and then the best thing to hire talent for so that it's not a pain in the you-know-what to actually get talent to use the software. Another reason this is important, another reason I'm going to be covering this, the more and more of these I find and the more I come across these, is because this lets us know that they're working into getting that 30% growth that we're looking for, right? That 30% growth, and again, that's conservative. We're looking for really 45% year over year. That's not going to happen, and the stock price is not going to reflect the valuation of that unless this type of growth is exponential, right? Unless many organizations are like, we really got to update our entire systems, get rid of the old stuff, implement Palantir Foundry. And in order for that to happen, there have to be these job descriptions where they're working with Palantir. I did a video a while back where Facebook, United Airlines, Ernst & Young, and AT&T had job descriptions of Palantir on their website. So, I mean, it's really exciting because it's like, okay, more and more of these big companies, CVS, Dell, Citibank, Booz Allen Hamilton, like these are Bank of America. I mean, these are huge companies. And if they're integrating Palantir throughout the entirety of the organization in the next 2-3 years, how big are those contracts going to be and how much wider can Palantir scale and sort of just go deep into the enterprise? So really good stuff, really good stuff for shareholders to recognize, and ultimately really good stuff for Palantir Foundry to be integrated throughout the entire enterprise organizations. So So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Some good updates that we're seeing more and more job descriptions looking for a Palantir. Let me know what you guys think, and let me know if you guys can find some more job descriptions. If you do, hit me up at AmitIsInvesting on Twitter. Just pop into my DM and send them to me, or just tweet me, and I'll put them in another video, and I'll give you a shout out as well for sending me the information. Thank you guys for watching. Looking forward to reading the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.